going to pray for Shrub, girlfriend. That's what we're going to do. We can make it through December.
Hi, hello.
Hey, y'all. It's good to see y'all. I'm so happy to be here. We said we were going to do a deep dive on different things, and we're kind of tired of talking about political stuff because you know what? It just continues to just get worse and worse.
And worse and worse and worse.
And we just, let's talk about things that nobody covers. It's just about as bad. But
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we're covering true murder cases.
Like true crime this time. We're going to do some true crime.
True crime.
Mm-hmm.
And we each have a story.
Mm-hmm.
We'll stay on it and give you guys updates of what we know. There's not going to be too much updates on my story because jury selection doesn't even start until April of 2025.
And on my story, the case don't start until October. It's been delayed twice. So I'm going to let Linda start with hers because hers was really interesting. So I'm going to let her start with hers.
Okie dokie. All right. So what we have here is a commercial. Let me get past this commercial and I'll show you who I'm talking about.
What are they selling? I want to know what they're selling. Is anything good? Is it Team?
Yeah, it's Harris.
Oh, it's not Team. Oh, it's Harris.
Yeah, it's Harris. So,
no, it's all right.
Whatever.
All right.
Okay. All right. I just want them to pull up the picture of her so you can see. Well, but you know what? That's not going to work.
You know what? While you're doing that, I want to tell you I love your hat. That is so cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hat. I like that.
Okay. I'm going to go this route instead. Really? Okay. All right. Her name is Corey Richkins. Okay, and this is her.
Hell, Linda, you know what? If she was walking down the street, you sure wouldn't think she had killed anybody.
No.
She looks really innocent.
She is a real estate agent.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she supposedly took out she's going to be on trial for several things, for forgery on mortgage papers, forgery on insurance papers. Supposedly she got $2 million worth of insurance on her husband.
Wow.
And he had his own masonry business.
Okay.
So, and what happened was he died in 2022. And she was arrested in 2023 after she wrote a book for her boys. She has 3 boys. She wrote a book about dealing with grief on a child. It's a children's book, dealing with grief. And after she wrote that story, they started narrowing in on her. But there's some things about this that doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you what they're saying, and then I'll tell you back parts that makes me wonder, is it really possible? Okay. So what they're saying is that she fraudulently took out a $250,000 mortgage on the home, and she forged his signature. She did it behind his back, and he didn't know about it.
Okay.
And she got these insurance policies. Well, I guess some way, shape, or form, they didn't elaborate on that, but she then was $3.1 million in debt. And I don't know how she got in debt or what she was in debt with,
Right.
but she was a real estate agent, or is a real estate agent.
Right.
And apparently the night that he died, they were celebrating. She had sold a big house, so she was getting a big commission,
Right.
and he died that night. Um, he was poisoned with 5 times the legal limit of fentanyl. Well, I shouldn't say legal, 5 times the limit of fentanyl in his system.
And
He's
it doesn't ever say whether he did fentanyl in the first place. It just
no,
says, okay. I was just curious. Go
no.
ahead. Sorry.
And so she made him a Moscow mule to celebrate, and then they ended up going to sleep. One of the kids woke up at 3 a.m. with nightmares. So she got up to go tend to the kid. And when she came back, he was at the foot of the bed, unresponsive. Now, before all of this, his name was Eric.
Okay.
Eric had taken 2/3 of his assets because they had a prenuptial agreement, but she retained all of his belongings in the prenup. So he didn't let his wife know. He put 2/3 of his assets under his sisters. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And he had told, and on Valentine's Day, this is the backstory. On Valentine's Day, I guess that she supposedly put fentanyl in his favorite sandwich, left it in his car for him for lunch with a note, enjoy your lunch, blah, blah, blah. And he got really, really sick. And after he slept for a long time, they didn't say how long, they just said a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He woke up and he told one of his friends, I think my wife tried to kill me.
That was first time.
That was on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And 2 weeks later, he was dead. And they say that she put it in the Moscow Mule this time. But now, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. They're one of their maids,
Mm-hmm.
housekeepers, whatever you want to call them, had a drug issue. And in that drug issue, they got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to go down for quite some time. They were looking at some good hard time.
All right.
And she did a plea deal with the prosecutor and said, oh yeah, she bought the fentanyl from me. And she said that she got the fentanyl pills or powder, or I don't even know, because they found no drugs in the house whatsoever. No drugs were in the house.
Well, there probably wasn't any because you gave it all to him.
So this drug dealer I don't even know if it was a man or a woman. They just said the housekeeper. She bought it and gave it to him on Valentine's Day. And she said that she went back to this person and claimed it didn't work. I need something stronger. So that's how she had the 5 times the amount of fentanyl. And then he was dead 2 weeks later.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So, yeah. And I really, I'm not too, she has 3 boys, and she wrote a book about, grief on children.
Hello, Royal Apple. It's so good to see you.
And it was a whole Royal Apple.
So, was there any domestic violence in that family at all? Ever?
No,
Oh, no.
no,
No,
no.
she just,
Yes, everyone's.
thank you, Royal Apple.
Yeah, so there's no history of violence, there's no history of anything, and it
Other
was
than she was in debt.
other than she was in debt and he was worth $5 million. But he had put, and there was a prenup,
So she couldn't get it anyway.
and he put everything, or he put 2/3 of his assets to go to his sister, not even his boys. See what I'm saying? Something's not right there. Why
Yeah.
would you? Why would you? And they didn't say he gave it to his sister to take care of the kids. It was, he gave it to his sister. But you've got 3 kids, and that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
That's why I
Why did okay, and this is his wife. Why is the sister getting any money there at all?
right. Why would he give it to his sister? And why would he tell a coworker that he thinks his wife is trying to kill him? How does he not know that it wasn't his sister trying to off him?
Well, there you go. There's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, people are crazy. And you've got, I mean, let's face it. When you're in trouble with the law, how many of criminal offenders are honest? I mean, let's be honest here. How many are honest that wouldn't turn a dime on somebody, even if it's not true? And it wasn't until the drug dealer house person came out and said, "Oh, I sold it to her," that they even looked at her. Right.
So she basically would have gotten away with it if the house person, the housemaid or whatever, house whatever, would
How
have
do
said,
we know how do we know that the house person didn't do it?
"Well, we don't,"
Right.
or
Right.
the sister. They
Or
must
the
got a little
sister.
bit more information than what we got, because how can I mean she's in jail, right?
Right.
Being retained right now.
Right. She's been in jail for over a year, and the trial doesn't start till next year.
Okay.
Well, the jury selection starts next year.
Okay. Well, don't worry. Her phone calls will be coming out. Her prison phone calls will be coming out pretty soon. And some of these guys aren't too smart. They just talk right like there's nobody listening. That's what
Oh,
happened to
you
that
know what?
Wade Wilson. He just kept sitting there talking away.
There is one thing that I forgot.
Mm.
She was having an affair.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean she's a killer just because she was having an affair. You know.
No, I was thinking just a little bit, when I was doing my deep dive on mine. And my mind goes to what where do you got to get as a person to get rid of someone?
Yes, Royal Apple. I'll show you the picture of her.
I mean, where do you got to get rid of a person? What puts you in that state of mind?
Right. Because I mean, a lot of people has affairs and don't kill their spouses.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, to
Right.
be honest, um, okay, Royal Apple, here. This is
We're
her.
talking about the Corey Richens story.
Yeah. And she supposedly killed, and this is in Utah, by the way. She supposedly poisoned her husband with um 5 times the amount of fentanyl that would kill somebody.
And Royal Apple, get a good look at her. If she was walking down the street, would you? I mean, she don't look like somebody that would do something like that. Not that I mean, I
You
guess
know,
that's the
see,
thing. You got that picture in your mind of somebody that would be like that, and
and the whole thing to me is that, if you look in her eyes, she actually looks like she's scared to death.
she does look like she's scared.
And, you know, I don't know. I really, yeah, she is smart. She is smart. She is a real estate agent. So, um, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I really am going to stay up on this and watch the trial when it comes out next year
Yeah,
and
yeah,
see, is it possible? Anything is possible, I suppose. you know oh, so you did read about it yesterday?
wow.
Okay. Yeah. I-
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it. Linda was saying this is where she was going, and I'd never heard about her at
yeah,
all.
i I have a hard time when it's kind of like a hearsay type scenario,
Right,
with the housekeeper saying, "Oh, I sold her the drugs." Well, why didn't you come forward until a year later? You know?
right. Because she's in trouble, right? The housekeeper's in trouble now.
Right, because
So
the
she's trying
housekeeper
to
is
save her. She's trying to save her own behind right now. Trying
that's
to
what
find a
I'm
plea.
thinking.
She's trying to get a plea deal here.
That's what I'm thinking. And the only other thing I can possibly think of is if she did, get the sandwich, and if the housekeeper put stuff in there and the housekeeper was filling his head with stuff, you know,
Right.
like, she's having an affair and she's doing this and she's doing that. I mean, but they had a prenup.
So see, she couldn't get a hold of the money anyway, right?
It would probably be in trust for the boys.
Right.
So she wouldn't have gotten the money anyway, other than the insurance policy that she took out. She
Was
said
she?
they said she took out $2 million worth of insurance on him. But I mean, to be honest, I
Oh, she
wanted,
had life insurance on him.
yeah, but to be honest, I wanted to take out $1 million policy on my ex-husband. I didn't plan on killing him, but I still wanted to take out $1 million policy, you know.
But there's a lot of people that do take $1 million policy out just for that reason.
Right, I understand that. But
When did she
you
take
have
out
to,
the when did she take out the policy? How long was it before
they didn't say, they just said she took
on it?
out the policy. I'll dig deeper into that and see when she took it out. But usually they have to be alive for 2 years after you get that policy.
Right. Yeah, no,
So
you can't off them. Yeah.
right, exactly. And that's what's not making any sense. So she wouldn't have gotten any money anyway.
Well, and in the clause of life insurance, suicide is a non-payment, right?
Yeah.
I thought it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't have got
And
anything anyway.
most insurances are that's the clause, yes.
So see,
But
she wouldn't have got anything anyway because they would have considered it an overdose.
right, right. But it could have been accidental overdose, so he didn't commit suicide. He just died by drugs. So
And
she
we
could
don't know whether he was a drug addict, right? Or was
no,
he? We don't
no,
know
we
nothing
don't
about
know. We don't know. They didn't say anything about that of him known to do drugs or anything else. But here's my thing too. Who the hell keeps a drug dealer in their house as a housekeeper? There's just something about that that's really, really bothering me.
Yeah.
Exactly, Royal Apple. There's something not right because who keeps a drug dealer in their house, knowing you have 3 kids?
Hey, Lindy, you think that he was doing okay? Now I'm really going to go off the tracks. You think he was having an affair with the cleaning lady, with the maid?
Yeah, but why wouldn't she have tried to kill her or just put her in jail? I mean, I guess anything's possible, but if she's out of the picture and he's out of the picture, maybe she had something going with the sister, deal
Or
or something.
you know what? If he had something going with the cleaning lady, and he said, "Look, we got to end this. I don't want nothing else to do with you."
She offed him and blamed the wife.
Right.
There is a whole lot more to this story. That's why I want to watch it when it goes live on Court TV.
Wow.
It's on YouTube under Law and Crime channel.
All right. I'll keep up with that one because that one is. There's a lot of holes there. There's a lot of holes in that one.
There is a lot of holes in this story. That's
Mm-hmm.
not making sense because I can tell you for a fact when my kids were little, there's no way I would have a drug dealer in my house. Okay, I'll tell you a scenario. He ate dinner, went in
Mm-hmm.
the bathroom, and he was in the bathroom for a real long time.
Mm-hmm.
And came out, sat on the couch, and unbeknown to me, because I was so dumb at the time, he was nodding out. Well, and I'm like, what is he doing in the what was he doing in the bathroom? And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
shooting up. I said, oh, hell no.
Not
Not with
in my
my
house.
kids in the house.
Mm-hmm.
No, 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 no. He's not welcome here no more.
Right.
You know, I
Right.
mean, and he was a nice guy, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to have risk my kids getting taken from me because I have somebody in my home shooting up in the bathroom,
No, you're absolutely right.
you know. So, but yeah, that's how a normal person I feel would be. Um, you know, That's how I feel a normal person would be with their kids. They wouldn't have a drug dealer in the house. I don't care if you're trying to help them or if they're a known drug dealer. And obviously maybe she didn't know. But if she bought the drugs from her, then how she had to know. I
Yeah. Oh no, there's no doubt. She knew where she got them from.
well,
And
the drug dealer is saying that.
yeah.
There's no proof that this woman bought drugs from that person.
So see, they don't know that either. She just
No.
it's her hearsay, and she's already in trouble. So
They said most of the evidence is circumstantial.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'll
it's
bet she gets off.
it's just something that we're gonna have to keep an eye on.
I'll bet she gets off.
We'll see. We'll see. So that's about all I got. Other
Well,
than
that's
we'll
that's
have to
that's
keep
quite
an
a
eye
bit.
on it. Yeah, yeah. So it is what it is, and hopefully the right judgment call is made.
Well, let's hope she, if you know what, if she's innocent, let's hope she gets off,
Right,
you know,
right.
because there are innocent people that go to jail that didn't do it that get framed. We all know that. So J Lo, she didn't go to jail. J Lo didn't go to jail. Royal Apple. Oh well, you know what? If you're gonna go into
Oh,
that
it
P Diddy thing, if we're gonna go in that P Diddy thing, you know what? She shouldn't have been carrying the gun because P Diddy. Yep, you're right. She did, and she was carrying the gun, and she gave it to P Diddy, and he did his thing. But my thing about that is, why would you carry a gun for somebody that you know isn't supposed to be is got a felony on them and not supposed to have a gun? Now I ain't carrying a gun for somebody that's not supposed to have one
right.
because that's just the way I feel. And then when he said, give it to me, I'd have said, I don't think so.
I wouldn't even carry drugs for a friend of mine.
Yeah, there you go. See, I mean, there you go. There's a whole lot more to
Like
look
I'm not taking a downfall if something happens
at.
when I'm completely and totally innocent. No, I won't do
No,
it.
no.
They wanted, and the part was it's easier for me to get you out of jail than you to get me out of jail. Well, that's all fine and good and dandy that you're thinking about me, but that's on my record now.
Yeah, and I don't want to go to jail. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
I have
Exactly.
a thing about a small quarter and a gate getting pulled behind me. Sorry. I like my freedom and my fresh air. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Exactly. It is not like this person would have stepped up and said, "No, they're mine."
No, heck, no, they're not going to. They're not going to bite themselves out. They're going to let you take the fall in a heartbeat. They're
Because
not
yeah, it wouldn't have been for personal consumption. It would have been with intent to sell.
right.
That there was a lot. I
So
know.
we're going to have to watch that one really close.
Yeah, yeah.
Royal Apple, my case. I'm going to go into my case because
Yep.
Linda's been dipping into my case because I told her who it was.
Yep.
Um, my case is on Sarah Boone. And let me tell you a little bit about Sarah Boone. There were 4 domestic calls on Sarah Boone that she had that her and her boyfriend fought all the time. They fought all the time. And so she decided that they drank a bottle of wine. Now, you know, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that that's all they had to drink because I'm going to let y'all listen to the video. She sure sounded like she had more than just a bottle of wine. But anyway, they had a bottle of wine, and she told him they were going to play a game. And she wanted him to hide in his suitcase. And then she's going to come get him. And I don't know what she's going to do to him when she came and got him, but she got him where he wanted to get in that suitcase. So she probably offered some crazy stuff. And he crawled in that suitcase and she zipped it up. And then she proceeded to mock him while he was begging and saying, look, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Now I'm going to let you hear that. And then I'm going to tell you something even better in just a second. But I want you to hear. I want you to be able to hear what she said because it was crazy. It's this one. All right. Well, go ahead.
I've got to share this. Are you paying around $140 or more?
No, we don't want to hear what you got.
2020, Sarah Boone and her boyfriend George Torres were spending an evening together at Sarah's home. The couple had a bit of a tumultuous past. Both had been arrested on domestic violence charges against one another, but they always seemed to get back together. On this night, the two were drinking. But what happened next is almost inexplicable. George got inside of a suitcase that was then zipped shut. Why and exactly how he got into that suitcase is not 100% clear. But what is clear is that at one point, he wanted to get out. He pleaded with Sarah to open the suitcase, but she refused. Instead, she turned on the video camera on her phone and started to record as George begged for his life. Still, she refused to unzip the suitcase. Then, the following morning, she eventually called 911. She said she and George were playing hide and seek and George ended up in the suitcase. When police responded, they found George dead. Sarah has been charged with second-degree murder, but now claims she was the victim and is claiming battered spouse syndrome. Tonight, we take a look at the entire cell phone video, the body cam footage, and the interrogation of Sarah Boone to try to
I just
figure
want
out
you to
how
hear
George
the
Torres
video, and I'm going to shut it
died
off.
in a suitcase. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Great to have you with us. You know, through the years, we've covered.
Sarah. Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real or ransom. Might want to get video for it extra.
Oh, she's messed up.
I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you drink on me.
Sarah.
You.
Breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the up.
Sarah.
Now that's just over 2 minutes of the video.
All right. So he's begging for his life, and they had one bottle of wine between two of them. Now, do you believe that? I don't. But
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
She was way messed up.
She was. All right. So she's had court-appointed attorneys. She's had nine attorneys appointed to her, which she has fired all of them.
Some of them quit, didn't they?
Well, she fired most of them. They might have quit. Some of them might have quit. But the judge told her, look, we can't find anyone that apparently you can get along with long enough to be able to plead your case. So you're going to have to represent yourself. All right. So she's going to represent herself. Now, the woman is extremely intelligent. I'm telling you right now, I've tried to look up and see what she did for a living before all of this happened. And I still have a hard time. I can't find it. But I do know, I did find, Linda, that she was in college.
Okay.
But it's not telling me what she was in college for. She lived on her child support from her prior husband that Linda found for me, of $1,000 a month, but she lived in Winter Park, Florida. I don't know if that's a expensive area or not. No? All right. Because I don't know much about Florida.
Trailer parks.
All right. So
it's like a condo.
Yeah, and she lived in a condo there, and she lived off $1,000 a month.
Or
all right.
Low income.
Here's the thing with her. After all of her attorneys have been fired and everything else, of course, the court keeps delaying the case because she can't get along with anybody to keep an attorney, right?
Right.
So when the judge told her, all right, well, you're going to have to represent yourself, she wrote a letter to the judge on the things that she wanted to be able to represent herself. And one of them is she wanted a telephone to be able to call out, no monitoring, and have excessive amount of calls, because you know when you call in prison you got to call, you got to pay for it.
Right.
She wanted extended amount of time to be able to call and talk to whoever and do whatever. All right. Then she wanted an excessive amount of paper. She wanted all the stuff that the prosecution had on her. They gave it to her on a hard drive, but she didn't want it on a hard drive. She wanted it in paper. She's got all these papers and all these files in her jail cell with her roommate. You know, she's got a cellmate. And they're all in boxes next to her bed. Now, you know, that's kind of odd too, because you know dang good and well that other person's going rummaging through that stuff. I wouldn't trust anybody in there not to be rummaging through it. But anyway, then she wanted them to close down the library for X amount of time a day, each day for the week, so she could do her research. Well, you know what?
Why you
No.
have to have a library by yourself?
Well, why do you, how do you expect? Oh, and she wanted unlimited internet, and she didn't want anybody monitoring that either. And I thought,
She probably wanted to check and see how the stories were going on the internet.
probably. But I thought to myself, here's this video. They've got and why did you record that? Why'd you record that?
Right.
I mean, if you were a real smart killer, you wouldn't record what you were doing. But anyway, she did. They got drunk. She was drunk. Oh, but she only drank one bottle of wine between the two of them.
Right. But
You can hear it.
you do stupid things sometimes when you're drunk.
But, well, you can hear it was more than one bottle of wine.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't sound like he was messed up.
No, but she sounded like she was totally gone fishing. And she didn't say anything about you hit me, or this is what you get for hitting me, or this is what you get for abusing me. Or did you notice what she said? This is what you get for cheating on me.
Right.
Her case doesn't go before a judge until October. So it's gonna be interesting to see. She doesn't have any remorse for it. She said he deserved everything he got.
Oh boy.
That's
never a good thing.
No. And she's got all of her domestic violence files and all that kind of stuff. But you know, again, here we go. Let's go back here. What makes you think, if you're that miserable, and if you're fighting and you're physically fighting,
right,
and why don't you just leave, or just call it a day and say, you know what, get your stuff, get out. I'll get the cops, and you can get your stuff and you can get out, and you don't have to come back.
You know, I've heard maybe it was his place, and she didn't have anywhere to go. But I've also heard that a lot of women are scared to death. But it doesn't seem to me, I don't know any background, but it doesn't seem to me like he would be a killer. I'm not saying he was an upstanding guy, but it just doesn't seem to me like he would do something. But then, you know, you never know. Guys, they flip on a quarter.
Yeah, but
Well,
you
so do
know,
women. So do women. Let me rephrase that. So do women.
what is it? What mindset? Think about that. What mindset would it take you to zip up a suitcase and sit and listen to somebody beg for their life and record it?
Yeah, that I don't get. Now I can see zipping them up and as a joke,
Hmm.
passing out and leaving him in there. But the whole videoing it, yeah, you kind of screwed the pooch on that one there, girl.
Right? Right. And she sure didn't. She was like, "This is what you get. You deserve this. This is what you get." And then she said, "Well, he deserved it. He hurt me." But you're alive to tell the story. He's not.
Right.
You know? That's why I'm saying these people, yeah, there's a lot of domestic stuff that goes on out there.
Right.
But can't you just walk away? What does it take just to walk away? There's always a friend around the corner, or there's always somewhere I would think you could go that you don't have to end somebody's life. That's just what I'm saying.
I've only got mad enough one time in my life that I think I probably could have strangled somebody to death. And it was another female. But I was blind with rage. I was blind with rage. Had the police not been there, I probably would have had her on the ground choking her.
And I'm sure you probably had a good reason.
You know,
Yeah. So there you go.
that was one time when it was, to me, it was a matter of life and death.
Well, I
Not
mean,
my
we
life.
have the right to defend ourselves.
Right? It
Oh,
wasn't my life. It was somebody else's. Very near and dear to me. I'm just going to tell you, my motto is don't mess with me and don't mess with my kids. You can mess with me. Don't mess with my kids. Don't mess with my grandchildren.
right. Well, that's a mama bear thing, and that's always the way. That's always going to be like
Right. Right.
that. But this was somebody that,
I mean, that's just straight up out of a crazy book.
yeah, and then to sit there and watch the suitcase move around and say, you deserve that. Just shut up. Just
Right.
shut up. You deserve that. You deserve to be in there in that suitcase." Well, I think that if you felt that way, then you deserve where you're at,
Right.
and
Right.
you're
Right.
going to defend yourself. And what's going to happen is she's going to say she didn't get proper attorneys,
Right.
and she loses. This is if she loses, because this
Right.
case don't go to court till October. So she's going to say, "I didn't have the right legal
defense.
yeah, and now this is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't my fault. This ain't my fault."
Right.
Well,
Right.
who zipped up that suitcase?
Yeah, they kind of got her there. But yeah, she probably will appeal it and she probably will say all that other stuff, you know.
Well, what she'll get is probably the death. She'll probably get a life without parole.
Well,
And then
that's in Florida. Well, they're not going on murder 1.
No, they're going on murder 2.
I'm sorry. She should have been charged for murder 1. That was premeditated.
Well,
she thought about that. Let's play.
She did. She did.
Let's play a game.
Yeah,
let's in the suitcase.
Let's play hide and seek. And if you hide in this suitcase, guess what I'm going to do to you if you hide in that suitcase?
Right, right. But I will tell you, I had a suitcase just like that in purple and orange. One in purple and one in orange. Those suckers were huge. We put a family of 4 luggage in that to go on a cruise.
Well, it'd have to be big because I was trying to figure out how he rolled himself up and got himself in that suitcase.
He might have been short.
Well, this is true. He wasn't very big. You could see by the structure of his face, the picture of him,
I
that he
mean,
was pretty thin.
my
But
brother's 5'2". I'm sorry, I've got something in my eye. Go ahead.
it's all right. It's all right. Well, that's little bitty 5'2". I don't even think they didn't even. I'll have to look that up because I wasn't smart enough to look that up. I don't know how big Jorge Torres was, but he rolled himself up in there and he pleaded for his life. And he sounded like he didn't have. Okay, so if they had a bottle of wine, I think she had a bottle of wine.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds more like it.
Yeah, because it
But
didn't
even
sound
at
like he
that-
had anything to drink laying in that suitcase.
But even at that, I mean, if she was a drinker, which she was, I mean, I'm not saying she was an alcoholic, but if she was a drinker, the more time goes on that you drink, the more you can handle.
You're
Yeah.
right. And didn't they say she was an alcoholic?
Oh, I don't know.
They said she was a
Might have.
heavy drinker. They said she was a heavy drinker.
Okay, well, that explains
But when you listen to her talk,
it then.
when
That
she,
explains it, but I'm sorry. And I get that, but I would have been working that zipper. I would have been pushing my finger in there and where it closes. I would have been pushing my finger in there and trying to get my finger in there, trying to get out instead of
she had
saying,
to
"Let
lock
me
it.
out."
She had to lock it.
Maybe she did.
I mean,
Maybe because I'm thinking, I don't know. Maybe I should try that.
what's
I got
that?
a big suitcase.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, that's
No.
like a crazy thing. You don't put somebody in a suitcase. You know what? I remember when I was a manager one time, I had to go out of town all the time. My dog would jump in my suitcase all the time. And I thought, what would happen if I zipped it up and took you with me? But I mean, you take a person and you put them in a suitcase and they beg for their life and they're saying, hey, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Please let me. And he called her baby and all kinds of things.
Right.
And she was like, no, you get what you get.
Well,
How does it work?
they were both arrested from domestic charges on each other. So she was no innocent bystander by any means either.
No, I didn't think so. Come
That's
on.
the way I
Come
took
on,
it.
Linda. I knew that you don't have it in you. You try to act like you do. I knew you didn't have it in you. But that woman did. And you know what? And you listen to her now, and she don't care. She don't care. And I think that if you look in a woman's prison, there's probably a lot of them that it's domestic violence, and they just have had enough, and they just decide, you know what, I'm going to take care of you and get rid of you. I just wish these ladies would just walk away.
I get that, but there should also be different rules. And it's crimes of passion, and they shouldn't be charged with if he's been beating on her for years and she doesn't walk away. Some of them are actually scared to death, and I've seen some of those Fear Thy Neighbors and stuff. These guys can find them wherever they go, because that's all they're focused on is finding them. And they have ways. They go to the family's home and one guy went and sat out in front of a girl's house, her sister's house. And eventually she drove to where the other sister was that he was looking for, and he killed her.
Do you remember the story it was a story, I can't remember the name of the movie, but Nancy McKeon was in it?
Yes.
And she tried to get away from him over and over and over. And finally he got a hold of her, and she was crippled. And she had a big scar up the side where he cut her mouth open and everything. She got off that case. And I would think, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Well, look at that movie with Farrah Fawcett burning the bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. And there was another one that Farrah Fawcett was in where she had that guy. Remember? I don't remember. He essayed her in a parking lot, and then she got home, and then he found out where she lived, and he went over to her house, and she stuck him in the fireplace and just poked him with fire. Yeah. Yeah, and then and all the roommates came in and said, "Let him go, let him go." And she said, "I'm not going to let him go. Came here to kill me. I am not going to let him go." Now, I mean, there's situations like that where you know what, you're just defending yourself. But this
Yeah.
ain't one of those. This lady is cold. I mean, she's got a cold heart, and she just flat said,
Yeah.
"Nope.
He deserved it.
You deserve it. Why didn't you just roll the suitcase out and put it on the front porch so somebody else could help you?"
When I was, when I was talking Marie, at that moment I was regretful that I did it.
Right.
I wouldn't be
Right.
going around like, oh, she deserved it.
No.
I know I wouldn't have done that. I know I probably would have been very remorseful. Very remorseful.
Well, sure. Oh no, this lady is standing by her guns and she's saying, no, he deserved what he got. And I'm going to be really curious to watch the trial because she's real intelligent. I'm telling you, she speaks extremely intelligent. I wondered if she wasn't in college for law the way she talks.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, she screwed herself up, screwed up her life. She's 42 years old, screwed up her life.
Right.
And,
Right. Well, I mean, so did Wade Wilson.
Oh, he was just an idiot. He just went, he got somebody he didn't even know.
Right.
He didn't even pronounce her name. You know what? There's all those prison calls. He never even pronounced her name right. Because he didn't even know her.
Right.
He just started choking her the minute he put the car in drive. And then he goes, well, I was all high on bath salts. Well, okay. All right. You were so high on bath salts that you counted how many times you ran over her?
Right.
You had enough cognizance to count how many times you rolled over her? No, he's just, you can see it. He's got those eyes of deer in the headlight. There ain't nothing in between those ears but air.
No.
I mean, I think there's some people we can just let go.
Yep.
It's
for sure. That is for sure.
So what do y'all think? We got 7 minutes. What do y'all think? These are some goodies here. What do you think? What is your idea? What do you think? You think that she just snapped? She'd been beaten so much she snapped? Because you know what? If you listen to her court hearing and she asked for all this kind of stuff, her brain came back.
Can I tell you my opinion?
Yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion.
She doesn't look like she's a woman that would sit on a couch, pull her legs up and be like this, like stop.
No, she don't. I'll show a picture of her.
She does not look like that. She looks like she'd be up there slapping and punching and hitting and kicking and fighting and biting.
Looks like she could be a toughie, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She doesn't strike me as the battered woman syndrome.
I'll show her to y'all. She's right here in this corner. Right here. This is her.
Yeah. She looks like she's a tough little cracker. No
Yep.
pun intended.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should say a tough little cookie.
Wow. You know what I never noticed is look at her picture right here. I just noticed it. All right. If you look real close at this picture of her, her
Mhm.
eyes are dilated.
Oh,
Now, when you're in the sun or in a bright light, your eyes are your pupils are really small. Hers aren't. They're pretty big. So she's on something at this point when that picture was taken. Of course, she could have been drunk. That could have been her mugshot. But I'm just saying,
yeah.
craziness. Well,
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think people have lost their ever loving mind. All of them. There's people out there that have just lost their minds.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. She looks like she's crazy.
She,
Whereas Corey, she looks like she's scared. Like
she does look like she's scared.
she looks like she doesn't want to be where she's at.
No, no,
And she
she
probably
don't.
keeps to herself and she probably stays in her cell and reads books or something, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. We'll just have to follow it and see what happens.
I want to see something here. Look at this one. This is another one that we've talked about. Let me get a picture of this one here. All right, I'm going to show this person, and this one's been around, so everybody knows this picture of this woman. So if I share it, you'll know exactly who it is. You tell me that she looks like she could be capable of doing what she did.
You know, the ones I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was her dad.
You know what I think? Honestly, you know what I think about that whole situation? I think that what happened to that baby is she was young and she was having fun and she was using that gas stuff to put that baby to sleep as a babysitter.
Yeah.
And she'd put her to sleep and then she'd be sleeping in the back seat and Casey'd be doing her own thing, right? And then she gave her a little bit too much one time.
No, it wasn't a child sacrifice.
No, it wasn't a sacrifice. What happened?
I think the baby accidentally drowned. That's my opinion.
I don't think she drowned. I think that she killed her with that gas that she put over her mouth when she'd go to the bar and because she had the baby with her. So she'd give her that gas and she'd go to sleep. And then one day she walked out there and guess what? She didn't wake up. She wasn't breathing.
Right. That's
And then I think she threw her in the pool. And made it look like she drowned.
Yeah, that's possible. Told her dad.
And then the dad went along with it.
And Daddy said, well, we're just going to say she drowned or whatever. And nobody knew where she was.
Exactly.
And I believe the dad's the one that put her out there. I don't think she did.
I think so too. Well, she's walking free.
Right.
And the next one to go back to jail's Gypsy Rose. Because she don't need to be talking to Nick Godejohn. That's against her probation. And she's doing that too. So we got a lot of things to do. Mr. President. Linda. I think we got a lot of deep dives.
Once a week. What do you guys think? Go and deep dive into some of these true crime stories.
Yeah, let's do this once a week. It's interesting. Find some good ones and some new ones, and let's show how crazy America really has gotten.
Yeah.
All right, well, our hour is up, and I love y'all, and I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you came, and thanks for all the support. Please like and subscribe. And I guess have a great weekend. Have a great weekend.
I'm frozen. Good
I know.
night.
Good
Love
night.
you.
Love y'all.
Have a safe weekend.
You have a great weekend.